So we're talking about the Fable and Folly here real quick. And so we were kind of going over how Castle's Curse is made by the same company, and how once they run out of a blend, they don't make anymore. Well, the thing with Fable and Folly is they don't literally exist anymore. The company itself doesn't, because it was Sitzer Weller together that was brewing these,
and not just Weller.
It's just not Weller.
What's the difference between Weller and Sitzer Weller?
Sitzer Weller was a different company than Weller.
Okay,
it is completely. I mean, I think Weller may be an offshoot. But,
couple dudes named Weller.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of like Jim Beam and James Bean.
James Bean.
Like, I'm not even kidding.
I know.
Jim Beam and James.
I know. But so Sitzer Weller has now gone out of business. They don't exist anymore. So literally the Fable and Folly is literally the last barrels of Sitzer Weller.
And that's what's really intriguing about the Orphan barrel. I don't. So I know we've had the Muckety Muck and we don't really like it.
The Muckety Muck,
per se, not our thing.
It's not my thing. They have a 24, 25, and 26 with the Muckety. I had the 25 and it was meh. I'm not going to spend the $300 plus a bottle they want for the Muckety.
They're like $400 now.
Are they really?
Yeah, I would not spend that. I would rather buy, like, honestly, I'd rather buy Skrewball than spend $400 on Muckety Muck.
I'm not going to disagree with you on it.
And it's not my first choice, but
it's not my first choice. I mean, there's about 100 other bottles I probably would put in front of the Skrewball personally, but at least. But Muckety is well overpriced for what it is. I mean, it's not a bad whiskey, but it would be something I would be more comfortable paying under $100.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay more than 90. And again, this is that whole taste bud profile thing. There's probably some folks out there that for them, it's the equivalent of what Fable and Folly is.
They're probably pissed off about what I'm saying right now.
They probably are. But
that's okay. And it's like.
But that goes back to the discussion of what Scotch is.
Yeah.
Scotch is an alcohol that's extracted the taste of your soil, your air, and your water.
And the barrel that it's put in.
So we're arguing over the taste of my dirt tastes better than yours.
Well, and the other thing is age too, right? So, I mean, I do see the aspect of, okay, these are 24 to 26-year-old bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Or so the whiskey was aged between 24 and 26 years. You lose a significant portion of the whiskey out of a barrel over that period of time. It's ridiculous how much you lose.
30-40%
chemically.
Sometimes.
So chemically, what's really interesting with these extracts, and I'm going to look into this for one of the next podcast, but I can tell you from doing Kung Fu when I was younger, there's this stuff called Dit Da Chow. I do know Kung Fu. Dit Da Chow. It's literally an herbal extract where they take all the healing herbs and they'll even do stuff like they'll take snake skins, seahorses, put it in the mix, and you're like, wait, what? And, modern science is like, no, it doesn't really do anything. Well, anybody that's been a practitioner knows there's some stuff you can put on your knuckles. So when you're hitting and you feel like you've broken something, you're good in a day or two. I mean, you are good. Your bones are stitched up. You're good to go to start hitting again and striking again. Same thing, tendons. There's all kinds of different families that have different brews too. So these things are sitting in alcohol and they agitate them every day. They shake them. And they might be 5 years old. They might be 60 years old. There's actually a dude in town that has one. His family's been shaking this batch up for over 100 and some odd years. And so there's portions of this thing. Studies were done where they looked at the chemical constituents and there was like 500 different compounds for these things that were a year or two old. Anything over 5 years had like over 5,000 new chemical compounds that they couldn't even tell what they were. Like we had not even mapped these things yet.
Yeah.
So imagine these organics, these botanicals, whiskey inside of a barrel. I can't even imagine like the mapping of the compounds and all that.
That's science, bitch.
That's science, bitch.
Fix your Mac stand while we talk. Francis, I want to hear some more Gaelic because when
we
left off, I was talking about a polyglot. Like, I'm definitely not a polyglot. I speak English okay. I speak Italian pretty well. I know a little bit of Spanish. I took 4 years of French in high school.
Vai piano.
Vai piano. Si. Come stai? So I took 4 years of French in high school, but my French is horrible. But I have Rosetta Stone. I bought Rosetta Stone before I moved to Italy because I wanted to learn. and I bought it for Italian. Well, during COVID, Rosetta Stone came out and realized, hey, everybody's staying at home, so we need to do something. And they actually gave like lifetime subscriptions out for free to people. And usually it was like a lifetime subscription to Spanish, all levels, all things, whatever. Well, because I had purchased this before, I wrote them out. I'm like, hey, you know, I purchased, paid a couple $100 for this. What can you guys do for me? And they actually gave me, this is incredible. And I thank them about this. Every language they have, lifetime subscription. So, I mean, there's like 80 languages on there, and one of them was Gaelic. And I just one day I was like, screw it, I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
And it was the entry level, the entry stuff, and I'm like, holy shit, I was completely lost. It was so foreign because, you know, you get a Germanic, you get a French, you get a Romance language. They kind of, you know, salute in Italian and salud in Spanish. Very similar, you know, very similar stuff. But these gay were, I was spitting on the screen, and it was just incredible just trying to do it.
You know, but if you're in an environment where they're talking language, you're going to learn it and pick it up.
Pull up the context
quicker. Funny enough, I actually got French and Italian, but I've never used them yet. That was like several years ago. All intent of learning French and learning Italian. Never been to Italy, but that's on my map. And I know, if you know, did you guys know he was on a TV show on
House Hunters International?
House Hunters, and we watched it earlier today, and it was fantastic. You know, but you'd probably learned the time you were there for just over a year. You must have learned quite a considerable amount the Italian. Yeah,
by the time I had moved there, I had already been living there for probably off and on 3 years. So I definitely learned a lot. And when you're there, you're immersed in it. And I learned a little bit more each day. You learn more about the dialect, the pronunciations. To this day, my trapassato and passato prossimo, which are the future tense and past tense, non esisto, non-existent. They're just horrible. But the Italians know what I'm saying, and I could easily order food, order a cab, get on the phone, talk to someone. Most of my Italian is around food and drink, which is fine because that's what you do a lot in Italy. But yeah, no. If we go, excuse me, let me rephrase. When we go to Italy, Francis, you're going with me. Like,
okay,
when I go to Italy, it's a totally different experience.
When he goes to Italy, he goes.
I go once a year, and I actually order my wine and olive oil from a dear friend of mine who has his own winery and cellar.
And it's actually really good.
It's incredible. I actually just got a shipment.
Really nice olive oil. Oh, I should have ordered some more.
I ordered 30. Not me. I had people in my office. We ordered 30. That was the biggest. We normally do, in increments of 6. And we did 30 this time. It was incredible. All these olive oils and balsamics and wines. It was outstanding.
Now, is that something that you can buy here in America, or is it shipped for Italy?
I call my contact in Italy. I ask him what he has in his cellar, what's fresh, what's made new. And we just got this year's olive oil. Oh, because olive oil, it's based on the rain and the weather and the climate and everything. And it is absolutely incredible. But he ships it to us from Italy.
So I'm to understand the order deadline is now closed.
Here's the deal. I can order more tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
What's a good wine from there? Because that's a really interesting list.
Yes.
And I actually showed it to some of my contacts in DC who were visiting, and they're uber. What's the term for a wine nerd?
Wine snob.
A sommelier or a wine snob.
So they're definitely, I mean, these guys would be sommeliers. Like they could talk about pairings. They could talk about where it comes from, seasons,
regions, the grapes, the varietals. Yeah. And I'm working on my level 1 sommelier.
Showing them the list. They'd actually not heard of a couple of them.
Yeah. You can't buy a lot of this
really interesting
in the States. No. So anyway, literally, he gave me the 2024 wine list.
So what's the best wine?
To me, the best wine for your money, and I spent €55 on this bottle of wine because I know how good it is.
What's that like?
It's a
$62.
Freedom dollars.
Yeah, what's that in freedom dollars?
Freedom dollars, about $65.
60, yeah.
But then you also got to put like $20 in shipping.
Yeah.
So anyway, mine is a Brunello di Montalcino, And
you pronounce that very well.
Grazie mille. No, and that's what really helped me with Rosetta Stone was my pronunciation. Like so many Americans go over there and they go grazie and arrivederci, and I'm like, you're not Brad Pitt and Inglourious Bastards. But no, so I really pride myself on my pronunciation. Ferroviaria, that's the train station, or stazione ferroviaria. That's the train station. So anyway, my all-time favorite is a Brunello di Montalcino, and I bought a 2012. So that's a 2012.
So what is your
Brunello di Montalcino.
Brunello?
Brunello is the region. So there's Tuscany, there's Chianti, there's Umbria, there's all the different regions. So Brunello's the region. And the Montepulciano is like you got the Sangiovese grape, you've got the different varietals, the Chardonnay grapes, the Merlots, whatnot. And this Montepulciano is the best. It's the driest, the most full-bodied, robust, well-rounded of the varietals. It's just top line. And most Brunellos start at 35 euros a bottle minimum.
Does it go well with organ meats like Chianti?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, let me ask you something.
Oh, come on.
We're living here in Italy. Out of all the places you've been, what's the best food you've ever eaten?
So I lived in Florence, so I'm very partial to Florence. And you cannot go wrong with a bistecca alla Fiorentina. So as you would imagine, bistecca, steak, alla Fiorentina is the Florentine way. And I love this because when I cook a steak, it's always rare to slightly medium rare, depending on the cut. When you order a steak in Florence or in Italy, anywhere in particular, they do not ask you how you want it. They don't ask you your temperature. You say, I want a bistecca. And they just write down bistecca and you come back. And that thing, a good vet can bring it back to life. It is very rare, but the type of cow and the way it's harvested and butchered and everything, it is so good. And it pairs well with the dry reds that you're getting in Chianti. But bistecca alla Fiorentina to me is a great meal. But honestly, spaghetti alla vongole, so spaghetti and clams. Oh, I do spaghetti and clams in Venice, and that is where you get the clams is right there in Venice. Rome is any kind of spaghetti, any kind of pastas, but carbonara. I like a good carbonara in Rome. But I tell you, one of my favorites in Siena, and this is particularly in Siena. This is the home of peachy pasta, P-I-C-I, peachy pasta.
Peachy pasta?
Peachy pasta. So we all know spaghetti. All Americans know spaghetti. Take spaghetti and make it about 3 or 4 times thicker. It's about the size of a pencil. Really, really thick. It's delicious, but it's cacio e pepe. And so it's basically cheese and pepper on the peachy pasta, and it is incredible. And so I always go to this one restaurant in Siena when I'm in Siena, and we get the cacio e pepe, and it is just flawless.
I've got friends, and they say the best food they've ever tasted, and they travel a lot. Best food they've ever tasted for Italy.
Italy just got some kind of a award of like best food in the world. And I mean, I could see that. I've eaten all over the world too. And each region and each place in the world has their own speciality, whatnot. But Italy's just everything.
Did I hear right that it's actually illegal in Italy now to bring in like GMO wheat?
Well, it's been that way for a while.
Okay.
And I love it because you go over there. My ex-wife she had a really, really bad gluten intolerance. I mean, she could touch a piece of bread and touch her skin and she would instantly get red right there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Really bad. And when I told her, I was like, hey, we're going to Italy. She's like, oh my God, I want to eat all the pasta and I want to do this, but I'm just really nervous. I'm really scared about that. We went over there. She had zero reactions. Zero. And she researched it. And it's the semolina pasta. Mm-hmm. It's the way it's processed. Mm-hmm. It's the way that, that they make everything. Over there in Italy, a good meal has 3 ingredients, but it's the best 3 ingredients that you could possibly get. And they put them together and pair them well. She had no issues at all.
That was the same way for, interestingly enough, when, my in-laws went to Europe, my wife's father, diabetic, one of the really hardcore, crappy types, cannot touch a grain of sugar. It could kill him, except when he was in Europe. he had to start eating loaves of bread to be fine. And he lost a bunch of weight, was able to get around. When I went to Thailand, same thing there, right? So I was like, I'm just going to have to drink liquor while I was there, but it can be really expensive. So I finally gave in and I had some of the beer, and I didn't react to the beer as I'm super gluten intolerant too. I was fine with the beer. And I asked like the cabbie one day, of all people, and he's like, yeah, it's illegal to bring in wheats from other countries. They have these wheats that are thousands of years old in their own country. And almost no reaction. I still had some reaction, but I was able to eat whatever I wanted.
Very
while I was
minimal.
there.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, which is great because some of the best fried chicken I've had in my life was in Thailand.
I bet.
Down some back alleys, like no joke.
Nice. So yeah, this was a great tangent and I absolutely love it. But we were talking about, I wanted to hear you speak some more Gaelic because you don't know it, and the listeners don't know it, but Francis has been staying with me the past couple nights, and we did tell him about how I greeted you at the airport.
Well, I remember last year.
Yep.
Last year you greeted me. You had a 10 of Guinness.
Yep.
As soon as I come into the baggage area, you're here waiting a 10 of Guinness. This year, I was busy on my phone as I'm walking into the baggage area, and I was here. I looks up, and here's him with 2 Guinnesses in a glass.
In the Guinness glasses.
In a Guinness glass. Everybody's looking like, hey, where do we get his Guinnesses from?
I had 2 guys in front of you because, like you said, you had your head down, and 2 guys in front of you, and I'm standing there with both pints in my hands, just facing you, and these 2 guys like put their hands up to try to grab them, and I'm like, nope, not for you.
So, I appreciate it. Thank you. I've never had that done before. I really appreciate it.
You're worthy of that.
What airlines did you fly, Francis?
American Airlines.
Okay, so apparently if you fly American Airlines to Tallahassee, they will greet you with a Guinness.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
And the flight here was, coming for California, the flight was great. It was not long to get to Dallas, and then Dallas to Tallahassee.
American's actually been much better for those east to west to east flights. We've stopped using Delta because they. Jesus Christ!
Especially Delta immediately to Atlanta. It's like I don't want to do that. Like,
dude, it's yeah. You got to shoot up to go back down to go over. It makes no sense. And then on top of that, their pilots lately have been insane.
Yeah,
really.
I have never experienced a rocket takeoff outside of being on a real rocket.
Yeah, you're getting 3 Gs on the takeoff.
Dude, it's horrible. And then the landing, like I cracked my neck on one of them. I was like, "Are you effing serious?"
Yeah,
I haven't had that issue.
Oh, dude, they have been nuts lately.
Yeah, I fly to Miami once a month for work, and we absolutely fly American. It's a 50-minute flight from Tallahassee to Miami. Boom, done.
Nobody wants to be slammed up or slammed down.
No.
Have you ever flown Spirit?
Not yet, but I have done Ryanair.
One of the worst airlines. Spirit.
Really?
Yes.
So I've seen some memes with Spirit, and it's like it's a reel when they're taking off and there's like bad weather, and the captain comes on and goes, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have some rough weather ahead. There is a rough weather fee that we're going to assess if you guys want us to fly around it." And everybody's like, oh, it's just, I've never done Spirit, but I've done Ryanair. And speaking of Ryanair in Ireland, I was living in Italy. Ryanair had a port or a airport in Pisa. You could fly from Pisa to Ireland round trip on Ryanair for $17.
Yeah, but they're going to charge you just as much as Spirit, if not more.
But you also
For
had
every little
baggage.
thing.
You had to pay for baggage, but that was crazy.
That's where they get you is the baggage.
Yeah, these aren't cooked. I thought they were supposed to be crunchy.
They're mangoes. What did you think it was?
I thought these were the sweet potato crisps. Holy cow!
Those are mangoes.
Mangoes. Anyway, so Gaelic. I wanted you to say some more in Gaelic because, as I say, and you're staying with me.
I'm limited.
And you didn't know that you're going to be reading me a bedtime story tonight. So
I was going to say, I've got a baby on the way. If I go back and grab one of the baby books, can you read that in Gaelic for us?
I can read it in Doric.
Doric is fine.
But Kimarahash, how are you? Tabla,
Tabla, Valley.
So just a little. I used to know more.
Oh, gross.
But that's it. But I wouldn't mind learning more. The old language for sure.
So there's, Chase, I know you were talking about Rosetta Stone earlier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can download Duo. Duo has a pretty good app for that.
Duolingo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we actually just downloaded or I guess it was about 2 years ago when we started learning Russian.
Nostrovia.
Da,
Russian?
see.
Oh, I know a little German too, Francis, because I've been to
downloaded
Oktoberfest
this
11
app
times.
called Mango language.
Ah.
And what's really cool with them is that they give you the phonetics, they give you what it means, and they'll give you the literal too. So you know how in some countries when you say hello, you're not saying hello, you're saying God be with you, or
Something,
or bless you.
bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're literally saying bless you,
Like aloha.
but contextually it's saying hello. So they have you can literally just click the thing and it'll switch it and translate it. So it's really cool because it puts you behind the mind of how they build their language, and it's obviously very different from country to country. But that one's been really interesting because Duolingo for us, we spent like a year doing Scots Gaelic, and then when we tried to speak it, we couldn't.
That's
It
the
was
problem with a lot of these apps.
Mhm.
Is
It's like playing a video game and the video game is turned off
It's
and
too- it's
you can't
too-
do anything.
it's too gamified.
It is. And that's what Duo does. It's gamified, so it's great to get people involved. But at some point,
You actually need to have immersion.
and that's what I want. That's what I want to try to do with our community here, right? Like we had the gal that did the Gaelic Irish last year, and I don't know how to do it, but I want to find a way, right? Like at the games, maybe we've got hey, 3 sayings, people say it, start have all the staff and all the folks say it.
Why not have competition? People that can pick up in some of the Gaelic, if they can learn it, let's say they get into the booth,
Mhm.
or in the clan booth or St Andrews Society, then learn a bit of Gaelic, X amount of words, and then something's going to be said over the mic at a certain time. If they recognise what it's saying, then they win a prize or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I like it.
And that'd be great. But what's Kevin, you figured out what FSA stands for? What was the
God.
FSA Scott?
The fellowship.
Fellows of the Society of Antiquaries of Scotland.
So it's FSAS.
FSA.
FSA Scott.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. Cool.
FSA Scott.
That's cool.
Okay, cool.
So that's why he's called an FSA Scott, is he's a fellow of the Society of Antiquaries
Oh,
of
cool.
Scotland.
We'll have to talk to the St. Andrews Society this year and see what we can cook up, because that's the kind of thing we want, right? Like we want immersion. Like you go into Disneyland, you know how Disney will spritz butter smells and
Oh, yeah.
popcorn.
Yeah.
Like maybe we have somebody walking around with spray bottles. I don't know how we spray Gaelic in the air, but we'll figure it out.
Fried chicken.
Irish Spring.
All right, so I was at a bar. It was I think it was actually Finnegan's, because I love Finnegan's here in Tallahassee, and I talk to everybody. I talk to a wall if it stood still, and I was talking to this guy, and we were talking about travel, and I have a pretty extensive travel repertoire, and he did as well, and so there was kind of a little competition, and so he actually said that he has this little thing that he does. And I was like, okay, hit me. He says that him and some of his travel buddies, they get together and they play this game where we each get a full glass of whatever we're drinking. And we say cheers.
You try walking after drinking it?
We say cheers in as many different languages as we can. And the first person to stumble has to, take a sip. And so he and I are going back and forth, Banzai, Nostrovia, Salud, Salute, cheers, Scow. And we just keep going back and forth. He's looking at me. He's like, man, you've got a lot. I was like, you got a lot. And so we instantly hit it off. And it just reminded me, I love to travel because you're going to meet so many like-minded people and you're going to see some amazing stuff that you have memories that just last a lifetime.
Yeah, and that's what I like about traveling.
Yes.
These different places, meeting different people. Just fantastic.
And I travel a lot solo because I love traveling with myself. It's easy to get a taxi, and it's easy to get a table for one. It's fine. I was in Rome a couple years ago, and I was by myself. I was sitting at this restaurant, and this guy was sitting by himself, and I looked over at him, and I was speaking Italian, and he didn't speak anything. He sounded English, and he said, "Man, this is my first time in Italy. I don't know." And I said, "I got you, man." So he joined me at my table. I helped him with the Italian, and we hung out the rest of he was there 2 days. I was there 2 days. We hung out the rest of the 2 days. Really, really cool chap. We exchanged numbers, and I've been texting him, and he's like, "Man, if you come to London, you let me know. You got a place to stay." And just like that, boom, we met off, and it's just he was traveling alone, I was traveling alone, and I love that whole aspect of it. So many people are worried to travel alone. I'm like, do it. You're going to meet like-minded people. You're going to have great memories. It's awesome.
So Chris, our new director of vendors,
yes,
he apparently was just like, screw it, I'm going to Japan, and like out of nowhere just goes to freaking Japan by himself.
Yeah.
Does he know any of the language at all?
No. I don't think so.
I applaud the guy.
Jesus.
That's awesome.
Bonsai.
But they speak English. That's
Yeah.
like
They
their
do.
singing
Most
language,
countries do, but they do appreciate it when you try to blend in.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
I do
That
want to
was-
go to Japan for the sushi.
So that was Thailand for us, right? Is that in Thailand, so we were looked at as just the average tourist. And one of the problems with that is that it's so cheap and close for European vacations that, no offense, they're dicks there. Like literally my first night there, I walked into the 7-Eleven, which is no joke. I'm a big dude. I could barely walk down the aisle of this thing. And they were having trouble with this guy that they were like, they were yelling at, and they're like, all right, get out. And I get out or I walk out and the guy's like, welcome to Thailand, mate. And so I don't know if he was Australian or European. I mean, with that
That sounds
accent,
like an
probably.
Aussie.
Yeah, it sounded like an Aussie, right? But we found that when we tried, it got us in so many places and
Yes.
just got us some respect because we were trying to respect the folks and their culture and learn and have a immersion because we traveled the entire country to these massive Buddhist monasteries up into the mountains where they were saving elephants and women that were well marketed in the sex trade that they
Yes.
saved and there's all this cool stuff that we got to be a part of. But like you try to say hello in Thai and they would try to help you. They wouldn't laugh at you. They would help you. Like, and it was really cool because we went from, like Swadika to like Sawadi Crop, and there's an R in there. And it was fun with my friend who's a musician. He was like, there's no R in there. I was like, I just spent half an hour over here with the gal at the fruit stand. She's like, crop.
This is the way she says it, and she lives here. So
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
right.
Exactly. But we met other Americans there who were like, we were able to kind of bond,
Yeah.
we met folks from other countries. I met an Aussie there,
Mhm.
and it's just really cool. And so I wonder sometimes, like, I'm going to make my kids travel. I'm going to tell my kids, like, at some point,
Yes.
you have to go out of the country. I'm not coming with you. You can go do it by yourself. You've got to go with maybe some friends, but you need to go experience another space, another culture, have that existential moment.
And get lost. That was a great advice that I was given when I went to Italy. They said, get lost. Do not get suckered into the
Okay.
tourist traps.
There is a caveat.
Okay.
Into countries that are relatively safe.
Of course. Do your research. Don't go get lost in Bangkok. No.
We got lost on a mountaintop,
Well, yeah, that's not good.
and one of the big things on that mountaintop, there were signs that were like, if you can't hear the buzzer, beware of tigers.
Oh,
And at some point when you get lost and you realize there's no more buzzer,
yeah.
Yeah.
Eerie, creepy feeling.
It really
Turn
was.
You won't know there's a
And
tiger
I'm at
until
the
it's too
top
late.
of this mountain, and I know I'm at the top because, well, there's daybreak.
Nothing else
There's
left.
nothing else. And I'm like, where did my friends go? And I was so angry. But they were saying the same thing when I got back because they got lost too. It was like they were like 30 feet ahead of us. But no joke, those trails, the switchbacks, everything. I also fell down a waterfall like face first. It was pretty
On
crazy.
purpose?
I've got it on video. Why would I fall on purpose?
Diving. I meant like
Jesus
in a
Christ.
city, get lost. Like don't take the same route. Don't go.
Oh,
into the
no,
as
we-
tourist
long
trap.
as it's
Yeah.
not like Guatemala City in Guatemala.
Which is-
Just don't do that.
Yeah, you get lost there,
Don't
you get
get-
lost permanently.
Don't get lost in Vietnam either.
Dude, we were actually lost in Bangkok, and we were trying to go from. Turns out we, like, no joke, inadvertently ended up in the red light district.
Red light district. I was going to say that.
Like, we weren't even intending it. We were going to go there. All right, I'm not saying we weren't,
We
but
zigged when we should have
ended up
zagged.
staying there, not
Oh,
knowing
wow.
it. And
course.
right across the street was a Hooters, which was crazy because there were hundreds of women just hanging out there, ready for.
I'm sure
for
they
date-
were all women
date time,
too.
right?
Love you long time.
So we go to meet a friend who owns this jewelry business there, and she was going to show us around. Just really cool thing. God, I forget the name. I got to look it up. They actually they're out of Miami. Jay-Z and Beyonce and the stars like buy their stuff. And so we were going to meet this friend.
Diddy Group.
Oh, geez. Baby oil.
Yes.
And GHB.
So, and we're on GPS and we're in these back alleys and we're like, okay, I think if we cut through here, it's like 3 blocks, it's going to send us right to it. And we get like 2 blocks through and this dude comes out that looked really freaking angry that he saw us in this back alley. And he's just looking at us like, I mean, this was a threatening, angry, pissed off freaking look. And my friend looks at him and goes, "We're lost. Could you tell us where we are?" It's just like, you're kidding me. We were 1 block away from safety, where, no joke, that extra block over, we had to stop because we're tourists. I'm wearing a tank top at the time and shorts and a flip-flops. We had to stop and buy button-up shirts and slacks to be able to even get over to the other side of the block. Yeah. It was pretty crazy because that was like their jewelry district, the high-end district, and
their rodeo drive.
That gal had to make some phone calls. It's like, no, they're with me. It's okay for them to come up to the hotel. Otherwise, they wouldn't even let us up. It was crazy. But like, culture shock.
Yeah.
Total change. And we made friends there and people that we know we could call for life. Like, to be able to go back there right now and be like, "Hey, bro, I want some of that fried chicken.
I want some of that chicken." All right. So I've got a question for the group.
Okay.
Should we try it with Francis? Francis, do you like bourbon?
I've never had bourbon.
Holy shit, that is a yes.
So this bourbon is at the St. Augustine?
That is the St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, the oldest city in Florida.
Yes.
Or contemporary city, modern city. Made here in Florida. I think that's a good location. Or I'm sorry, I think this is a good time.
Absolutely.
Because that's what's so interesting about this stuff is like, you may not like something, but you can be like, I remember I was sitting with these dudes drinking this weird, expensive, stupid bottle. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Castle's. I'm sorry.
Well, that first whiskey we had, that was the pears and peaches and
Castle's Curse. Yeah.
that was nice.
It is a nice whiskey.
That was nice. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this.
Castle's Curse, honestly, not my thing.
9.5.
7.5.
Fair.
But it's not my thing.
It's not your thing.
I do not like apple in a liquor.
I'm taking that bottle home with me.
No, don't drink all of it because my wife's going to need some. Can we do that? Can she
I'll
have my
hold on
next
to it.
portion?
I'll hold
Okay.
on to it.
Because like no joke. So like
It will go next to the Fable and Folly, and then when she can,
Jen loves
bring
the space sides. She loves the fruity, aromatic, that kind of thing. I think she would love this. I think this would be one of her bests.
So what we'll do with it is I'll just put it up with the Fables, and then when ready, we'll get it out.
Would you like?
And we're back.
We are back, ladies and gents. Everybody had their little pee-pee break.
So I think we had Orphan Barrel, Castle's Curse.
We had the Castle's
Which
Curse.
was like appley and spicy and kind of peppery when you added water.
A little peppery and a little bit of caramel in there, some vanilla notes.
And then honestly, what's the sports term for somebody that comes out of like nowhere and wins it?
Oddball, the underdog.
Skrewball.
The underdog.
Underdog.
In this case, Skrewball.
It
the
actually
underdog of
surprised
Skrewball.
me. It surprised me.
And during the break, I messed with Kevin's mind
I want to throw him out the roof because I'm so pissed off about this right now.
by combining
And you blend.
Castle's Curse and Skrewball.
Why?
I know there's a hit on my head now.
I'm currently sitting at $200.
Tell me it wasn't good though. Tell me it wasn't like
good.
actually interesting.
It was interesting. There's the right word. I'm not sure. Good.
I can't say I'm going to be a mix master, but there was something there.
Sir Mix-a-Lot over here.
But Chase here.
Yes, I have in my lap, in my massage chair. Love it. I have from the St. Augustine Distillery. This is the Saint Bourbon Whiskey. And this is a limited edition barrel finished. It is, ladies and gents, 111 proof.
Spicy.
It was made in the spring. This is batch 24A. This is bottle 890 of 1,500.
Wow.
So I went to St. Augustine around the 4th of July weekend, and I'm like, if I'm in St. Augustine, I'm going to the St. Augustine Distillery. They had this tour, different levels you could do. I paid the $35 to do the full tour, the full tasting. You get to go back in the back, and you get to actually pour your own bottle if you wanted to. You pay a little more extra money for it, but you get to pour your own bottle right out of the barrel. I didn't want to do that at the time, but when we got done with the tour, you end in the gift shop, in the shop where all the bottles are and everything. And not only did they give you a Glencairn glass, and that's what your glass is. If you look at it, it says St. Augustine on it. They give you a Glencairn glass at the end. It says St. Augustine Distillery.
Are you saying Karen or Cairn?
Cairn. They give you a
Karen or Cairn?
Cairn. They give you a discount to purchase this. Now, this is about a $250 bottle of bourbon, and they give you a $35 discount, which is basically the price of the ticket.
Yeah, let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Now, you said that they can let you pour your own bottle?
Yes, they'd give you this empty.
So it would be a bottle just the same
like
as this?
And you'd go to the keg and go and pour it out. Now, you have to pay more for that, and I didn't really want to do that. I wanted this.
Did they let you select the barrel, or did they already have one right
They've
there?
got one barrel.
One already ready to go.
Yep.
So it's upgrading the package. Got to pay more. But you don't get to select the barrel.
No, you don't get to pick the barrel.
But it is a cask strength.
Yes.
Right. Single barrel.
111 proof. So
111.
111 proof. So it's 55.8.
Have you tasted it yet, or is this like
this was one of the ones that was on our tasting when we were doing the tour. And of the four that we tasted, this one to me, it just touched my soul. It was amazing. It's called the Saint. It was incredible.
Rock on.
And this was the first time I've opened it. So I'm sharing it with my boys here. All right, here we go. Here's the
I'm
cork.
excited about this.
How much proof is the other whiskeys compared to this?
Skrewball's
80
probably
proofs,
40,
70 proofs.
So, and we're looking 94.8 proof on the Castle's Curse from today.
Yeah.
Skrewball's going to be less because
70.
Because I can taste it. I can take it.
70 proof on Skrewball.
70 proof.
Yeah.
So this one is going to remove the hair off your chest.
Yeah. Most of the sweet ones like this that are kind of liqueur based are almost always under, they're usually like 50 to 70. So they're almost always under 80 proof. But
here we go.
I'm excited about this, Chase.
Oh, that was a
nice
good pop.
It was squeak, just a big pop.
Pours fast.
Oh my gosh, that brings back some good memories. And I'm pouring 2 glasses. So I'm doing one of the good rum glasses or bourbon glasses I have, and then the rum taster.
No joke, this rum taster has made everything taste different. Just like a Glencairn.
Yeah.
Not a Glencairn, but a Glencairn.
Karen, don't drop it.
Nope, I got it, my man.
Yes, sir.
I am really excited. Thank you for
Absolutely
letting us.
And I'll tell you, I was at a bar, and I forget what country I was in, and we were talking, and this guy were talking about, the drinks and stuff, and he made some great wisdom. He says it's not necessarily always about the drink; it's about who you're sharing it with.
It is,
and it really is. Like,
yeah,
that's wisdom you don't get if you just go to a nightclub or a discoteca in Italian or whatever. But it is the memories and the brotherhood and the camaraderie, and I love it. And I wouldn't share this any other way, boys. I wouldn't have it any other way. Get the nose on that.
I appreciate that, my man. This is.
Well, I'm glad to share some time with you because time is the most precious thing we've got.
Amen.
And I'm happy to share it with you guys.
Salute.
Salute.
Let's not drink it yet because
let's wait till Kevin's finished pouring.
Rude.
I know. Salute, everybody.
I'm not drinking it yet. We're just still nosing it. Got to let it breathe a little bit.
I do want to get like a little emo here for half a second.
Go ahead.
We had the Ceilidh last night for our Tallahassee Highland Games Ceilidh. We had the Tallahassee Irish Step Dancers. We had Sycamore Assembly Scottish line dancing. Just some great folks. St. Andrew Society. We had the Luckin Booth, shop.
Yes.
At Ology Brewing Company in Florida. And they've done some really cool stuff. They do some amazing brews. They've got their own distillation. Did you realize they had a absinthe last night?
I didn't realize it because we tried it. Kevin and I were sampling it, and it was outstanding.
A slap of anise and fennel to the face. It was amazing.
That's exactly what it was.
It was
that
delicious.
Wormwood.
But y'all, I was really excited with how that went down. And, we had hundreds of people there that I think, some that didn't know what was going down, at the bar that night, but then others that knew. And
I think everybody enjoyed themselves.
it felt like real community starting again.
Yeah, they did. And the dancing set the stage and the tone along with the pipe band Great atmosphere. You had the St Andrews Society there.
Tallahassee Pipes and Drums. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
y'all. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just thank you
They
so much.
were.
And
They
they've been
were.
so supportive of this whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, as we kick
And
back.
Francis did his historical
Francis
lesson.
did the historical.
People love that. You got the crowd involved too. That was great.
You have this
That was the first time I've ever done like a talk, a little seminar speech
You
on
did
the history
good.
of games. And
I wanted to walk around and smack some people who kept talking. I was like, listen up. Francis is speaking.
we'll do that next year.
Yes.
We'll have some snipers and just squirt them with
Yeah.
but
water.
it was
Scotch.
nice. It was nice. And I
There
think
you
you got to interact the crowd too.
Yes.
Also,
yeah.
you
We
know.
had a really good raffle. Some people won some great raffles too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. But I want to thank you all because, I mean, like, no joke, like, Kevin came in to just, kind of,
Yes, sir.
running sound for everyone.
Yep.
Fixing some issues that were
I
happening
thought
with
it was
the,
his.
with the
I thought
equipment.
it was his job.
No, homeboy just showed up and was
Okay,
like, I
you
got
were-
this. Right? Like, and you did that at the games this past year.
Yep.
And saved our asses.
I appreciate that.
Chase, same thing.
Yes, sir.
Francis, same thing.
God, the amount of time we put just spray painting last
I-
year.
I enjoy
Yes.
it. I really do. And games have been a big part of my life. And this last 2 years coming to your games here in Tally, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been fantastic.
I am thankful for you all.
Absolutely.
I wish
Emo.
I had some amazing little awesome Scots Gaelic phrase to say, which we'll say next time. I'll have one. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for helping this dream come true, for bringing our community together, bringing a K-Lee to Tallahassee that hasn't been seen anything like this in at least 20 years.
Slanchiba.
Blancheva.
Blancheva.
Take it back, boys.
Oh, that's really interesting.
To the first part of the nose. I know Francis is turning his head because it's a barrel strength. Nutmeg.
Yes.
Are you getting the nutmeg?
Y'all
I'm
too?
like, what is that
Dude,
flavor?
It's cinnamon
Wow.
nutmeg.
Strong.
And that to me in
This
a
is a
bourbon.
Christmas bourbon.
Yes.
Super cinnamon.
Now-
Perfect timing for popping this because it's November 17th tomorrow.
We are going to put ice in this because it
Happy
takes
belated
it up
birthday.
a whole nother notch,
Tomorrow.
boys. Ice in this.
No,
Wow.
this is perfect.
This is no joke.
Pass.
I don't care if I can handle another notch. What's this? This must be about an ounce.
That's a small amount.
Yeah,
That's like a third of a shot.
third of a shot.
All right, I'm getting some ice.
No joke. This is. I mean, this is crazy. How much like Christmas this thing
Yeah,
screams.
it's like it tastes like Christmas.
and
At
what's,
least to me.
what's funny about this whole process, right? So you can take essentially like what's a bad beer just with a high alcohol content, not really worth drinking in and of itself. Stick it in a freaking barrel, and depending on the heat, depending on the temperature, depending on time, depending on the oils on somebody's fingers that may have touched this thing, you can get these completely different tastes.
Something Sam Adams Utopias.
The what?
The Sam Adams Utopia.
What is that?
It's a beer. It's a very expensive beer. Comes in.
Something's happening, guys.
Yeah. You like-
I'm acquiring the taste for this.
It's bourbon.
My
Love it.
man.
I'm just gonna have to look it up.
When I was
Francis.
younger, just the smell of whiskey. But this is very different to other whiskeys, though.
Yeah, this is a bourbon. So it's only made from Kentucky bourbon barrel wood.
In Florida.
Yes.
Oh, very nice.
This is a
Yeah.
Florida bourbon. This is the
Correct.
first bourbon of Florida.
Yes.
Can
And
it
the
be
first
called a bourbon?
city of Florida.
They have the barrels from Kentucky.
But for it to technically be a bourbon, it has to be made. All of it.
Well, that's I think the gray area now is if it's the barrels, it's still being aged.
No, because it's water. And
The water from the streams in
Yes.
Kentucky.
the specific area of Kentucky.
Well, they are calling it a bourbon at least. But
They're incorrect. So the Utopias
have you put water in it yet?
No, I still have the
is
smell
a
of Skrewball
barrel-aged
in my
beer
rum taster.
at 28%.
A
Ye-
beer at 28%? Holy crap.
It usually costs the bottle. It's usually like a. Let's see how big is that bottle. No. Yes.
What is the face you're making, Ryan?
I got to do. I'm sorry, Kevin. I got to do another round out of this rum. I switched to the rum taster, and there's still an odor from the peanut.
Oh gosh, you
I didn't. I know. I'm sorry.
Francis, you said go ahead, Kevin.
So it's a 25-ounce bottle
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
that costs usually $200 to $400.
Jesus.
Negative Ghost
25
Rider.
ounce?
25 ounce.
Good grief. That's like cocaine prices.
my God, this thing, did y'all get that deep warm from
I
this?
haven't done it yet. I haven't done it in the
That
rum. But
deep
Francis,
warm.
you
I
said
feel it.
you're starting to
Yeah.
acquire it. Tell me why.
It's something I've never had before, really.
What is it?
I have tried, when I'm at games, I get offered whiskey. And I'll maybe get out a little flask. I'll take a little tiny bit of whiskey. I'm not a whiskey drinker. Basically because it's too strong. Just, I grew up near drinking. I never started drinking until I was 37. Beer. I'll give you a laugh. Dave Glasgow, he took me to his games to MC. That was about 15 years ago. And he picked me up at the airport. I went back to stay with him. And he said, okay, great. You'll hear dram with me. And he says, okay, here we go. Here's it. I said, oh no, Dave, I didn't drink whiskey, sorry. And he was so letting down. He was all ready to hear dram, but when he found out I never drank, I said, I only drink beer, But I think, over this past 2 decades, I trying whiskeys now and again. I'll try a little bit of whiskey, but this is the first time I've ever sat and doing, and they had just one, but like several whiskeys. I got to say probably this one, and then what was the other one? You were
The Castle's Curse.
yes,
Castle's Curse.
Yes, that's a very nice whiskey as well. But out
There
of
you
them all, this one.
So you just
I
have
think-
expensive taste, is what you're telling
Just
me.
well, it's an expensive flavor,
Right.
and it doesn't seem as though it's overpowering,
Well, and
Right.
what's really interesting about this whole
Cheers
thing,
it up. This is to the Scotch, to the bourbon. And
this is
we
a
get
really
Kevin
good
in
bourbon.
there.
We're gonna
Cheers.
St. Augustine Distillery.
oh.
You just had the world famous Francis Brebner 7 times. Notice I corrected it.
Bingo. In real
World
time.
caper champion
Yes.
and president of the International Highland Games Federation.
Yeah.
I think it sounded like he just endorsed.
the same.
Yeah, so if we can hear
Your
St. Augustine
bourbon.
being a sponsor
Yes.
for
There you go.
Tallahassee Highland Games for next year, it'd be
That'd
fantastic.
be kind of hard.
Not just
Not
for the
hard.
Highland Games, but for the Stones of Strength also. That would be great.
We'll have him in the VIP tent.
So we're doing whiskey barrels this year for the Stones of
Yes.
Strength. We're getting rid of the table. We're going to do a run. We're going to do 6, and we're going to go. Just like they do in Scotland, from whiskey barrel to whiskey barrel,
Yeah.
loading each stone.
Why not have them sponsored in the, each stone has a different whiskey sponsor.
There you go.
Yeah.
At Stone,
I like
Hey,
that idea.
so they make gin, they make vodka, they make all kinds of stuff.
So-
They can sponsor the whole thing.
So quickly, you're complaining about 25 ounces.
I'm not complaining about anything. What are you talking about?
That bottle there is 25 ounces. That bottle there is 25 ounces. That bottle there is 25 ounces. 750
He's going back to
milliliter.
the Samuel Adams.
700 milliliter is
See,
25.3
I did not
ounces.
know that.
I gotta say, y'all, I am.
So
I've
put
been
water
I
in it.
really genuinely like this whiskey.
Yeah.
This is
good.
this St.
Bourbon.
Augustine Saint.
bourbon.
This
Well,
is
whiskey.
really interesting.
It is whiskey.
I know.
This is, watching some of the different YouTube channels. Everybody's got their own opinion, right? But this is really nice.
It is really nice.
I get that kind of like sweet mouth coating, like a dessert, right? You get some cinnamon. This is definitely my profile.
Yeah.
So you get some spice in there. You get some warm, not burn, warm that goes all the way down into the stomach. It's like, hello, I could go outside if it's like 38 degrees right now.
It's mouth coating for sure. Have you put any water in your
I have
regular drink
not.
yet?
I'm
Do that
going to.
because you guys are talking about Christmas. I seriously get like a Christmas cookie, like some kind of sugar cookie with like the nutmeg in it. Oh, it's so good. Like I said, I'm a sweets guy.
I'm new to this, remember, Ryan?
Yep.
So,
Give 'em a
so
little
we're gonna
splash.
put a little drop. Oop,
There
wow,
you go.
I put way
Now
too
swirl
much.
it, go. Swirl it good.
Sorry. So, Francis, yours is probably 50-50 right now, which no joke. So we drink the stuff straight, but in Scotland,
Yeah.
I mean, you probably know better than I, but the Earl of Caithness was telling me that they literally will put they'll
Yeah.
same volume in water.
Water, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it. The legs on this thing are outstanding. The nose is so pleasant. The start, the middle, and the finish are all just like wanting me to take another sip.
Getting the sugar cookie with the water.
Wait for it. Swirl it some more.
Oh, I
You
swirl
don't
it.
have the right glass either.
Your mom doesn't have the right
Shut
glass.
up.
Your mom's a nice lady. She's been very nice to me. I've
More
never met her.
ginger snap than Christmas or the sugar cookie.
Yes. Yes.
Ginger
What do you
snap
think?
I get.
I felt that in my nose.
Yes.
We've all been there.
It
Oh my
changes,
God.
It changes it up
Oh,
a bit.
in the rum
does.
taster? Hold on.
I'm going in the rum
Oh my
taster
God.
now.
Get to the rum taster.
I'm getting it.
Stop everything else in life and get to the rum taster.
It's been sitting in my rum taster for a minute.
Oh my
Here we go.
God. This is sex in a glass with some Christmas. It's Christmas sex.
Oh, I get more of the alcohol nose out of the rum taster right off the bat.
I'm getting that sugar cookie you're talking about.
The sugar cookie, yeah, the cinnamon, nutmeg,
This is crazy.
caramel. Hold on, what's that other note in there? I know the nutmeg really just hits you.
The nutmeg.
The nutmeg.
How many deep? There's definitely something else in there I'm not touching yet.
I'm wondering
it's not
if this is coming from the salt water, the salt air. I'm obviously not using salt water, but the salt air that's there. I wonder if that salt air makes its way through the barrels.
So it turns out St. Augustine, they have a really phosphorus, I think it was,
Yes.
rich water. So they actually do reverse osmosis, right? It's not like Tallahassee up here where we've got some of the best water in the nation. We've got an aquifer, just amazing water straight out of the tap. So they do have to filter it, and they're straight up about it. But they then put it into a well. They have their own well there that it's lined with, I think it's lined with limestone.
Yes,
So they
definitely
get
limestone.
it keeps it clean, pulls out other contaminants, and just a nice fresh water.
mineral rich.
Mhm.
It's hard to say.
Very much mineral. Yeah. And their process is really, really, really interesting where they'll do small batches on almost everything. The tastings that I've seen, I have not tasted this. I've tasted their gin, I've tasted their vodka, and they're good. I'm not a vodka person anymore. I used to be. I've never liked gin, but I liked theirs. And this is a hit for me. And interesting note though, actually real quick, I know you got something you
Go ahead.
but they have one lady who bottles every single bottle, puts the number on it, bottles hundreds a day.
Yes.
So you're literally getting like this entire process when you look at it and go to the distillery. It is hands-on, local people, local Floridians touching every single part of the process. It's not like the mega distilleries that they've got a lot of the
Robotics,
mechanicalization and robotics. Exactly. I mean, this is like grandma making something
Yeah,
for you.
I'm glad you mentioned that because they told us that on the tour, and I'm like, that is awesome. Like she comes in and you could look right through the glass window and see her, and she's got this little device that she sets the bottles in. That way, the labels are all the same direction and same orientation, everything, and it is hands on.
Yeah.
So that's how they've done it with tradition. They've continued this for
Yeah. So I just tried it out of the rum, and
Different animal. Still amazing.
the biggest thing that changes it out of the rum taster for me is the spice, the back end spice.
I'm still trying to figure out what's in there.
I know. It's almost there's like a saffron or something. What is it? It's such a difficult spice to place.
I'm wanting to say it's something that's clove adjacent. It's not anise. When you say saffron, I'm like maybe, but I can't
I got it.
pinpoint it. What is it?
Oh, right there. As I spoke, tarragon, and that's a hard one to locate. But it's like a tarragon, like you said, saffron, tarragon, or the clove. It's all right because nutmeg and clove are.
There's almost like some clove without
what I'm saying.
the like if you cut clove in half, it's almost like some of that there.
like dilute it,
Yeah,
like a diluted clove.
Something.
But I mean, it's so vivid. Like,
But that's where it hits the holiday tier,
Yeah.
right? So
like in a eggnog.
we're getting some nutmeg, we're getting cinnamon, we're getting clove, we're getting a whole bunch of different
Yeah.
things. I don't know about saffron during the holidays, but
Use some
Yeah.
saffron rice.
So Francis, this is really interesting, right? So like I said, I think it was about 4 years ago, I used to hate Scotch. And I wanted to know why everybody liked Scotch because at one point I drank a Scotch and I loved it. And then I tried it again years later and I hated it. And I found that the more we drank it, the more we were able to identify these like flavor profiles, these tastes. And then, of course, just plain and simple, like dinner, like a home cooked meal, things you like.
Gravy, dressing.
So
I never used to think a whiskey is tasting good. The smell of it, to me, never smelled good. When I tried it, it never tasted good. But I think if it's with age, I'm acquiring a taste. But I had something doing like this and tasted so much. If it's at is that 4 whiskeys we've tasted?
3.
3
The
whiskeys we've tasted.
Skrewball, the Orphan, and the Bourbon.
Okay.
We can go 4 if you want to.
No. This is probably one of the best I've tasted. And I was going to ask, so St. Augustine, how did it get its name? The place St. Augustine.
So it had one of the oldest forts, the St. Augustine Fort.
It is the oldest founded city in the U.S.
Yes, in
contemporary
the US,
city, technically.
in the U.S. You go there and you see a bunch of ruins, and there's a St. Augustine old fort, and it's right on the water. You see the cannons and everything still there. It's gorgeous. If you've never been, it's gorgeous.
Okay, so when I was a kid,
Yes,
8 or 10 years old, we went there on a school trip, and they took us into a spot, and I started getting like claustrophobia, and I started freaking out. And I don't do that. I mean, that's not my personality. It's never not anything I've ever experienced. Weird sensations and other stuff, and they're like, yeah, this cell is said to be haunted. I'm like, I am getting the fuck out of here. I'm like, I am feeling this stuff. And they're like, yeah, that's haunted. I'm like, boing, let's go.
That's funny.
Really interesting fort.
The fort's
the
cool.
Star Forts of Florida. Just look up Star Forts in general.
Cocina. Yeah.
Really, really interesting. I don't even know how they built these things, right? Because you look at the craftsmanship and the megalithic structure that goes into building these giant blocks. You know, clearly folks that are masons, not the group per se, but people
that work masonry.
Yes, that's their skill set. They know some things, and it's just really incredible to look at these massive pieces of stone and the design work that they've created and the patterns. And you think about like trying to attack this thing, and you're like, yeah, there's no way, just go home.
So
let Francis taste it out of the rum taster.
The name,
yes, hit me.
Was named after the Catholic saint Saint Augustine of Hippo, because the Spanish admiral who founded the city first spotted land on August 28th, the saint's feast day.
Saint's feast.
So it was the feast of St. Augustine when they spotted the city. Spanish fort, heavily Catholically influenced from Spain at the time.
Oh, yeah.
St. Augustine. Not
and remember when we say Spain at this time, we're talking Castilian.
Yeah,
yes.
The Spanish Armada, like
Spanish Armada,
the prime of Spanish rule. Yes.
You know, which the Inquisition was good. The Spanish Inquisitions were going on.
Throw a knife or an axe at me, though. Red-headed white Spaniards.
Yeah, I can see that. Francis.
It's just heritage-wise, there's actually a lot of Celtic culture in Spain around that time frame.
I can see that.
You know, and so some folks that are Spanish that I know, they get really upset when you say Spanish and you're speaking about someone that's, you know, Mexican.
Yes,
Hispanic,
Latino. Yeah.
And Latino and Spain. From God, what's the group that's in northern Spain?
The Basque.
The Basques.
Yeah.
Man,
Some of the greatest stone lifters you will find, the Basque stone lifters.
Wow.
Incredible. The women also, just unbelievable.
That's the paella.
Have you guys seen those, Kevin and Chase? So they have these like columns that are
like
rectangular blocks, and they wear these handmade leather like vests.
I've seen that. It's insane.
Check out Rogue, right? Anybody that wants to know about this, go on YouTube. Check out Rogue, ROGUE.
Yep.
They are actually a really amazing American company that's done some really cool stuff we can talk about later. But they've done this documentary about the Basque stone lifters, and they do this thing where they kind of bend over, they grab the bottom of it, the top of it's kind of like pinned on their hips and their stomach, stand up, use that bottom hand to flip it. And Francis, do they get it to the shoulder?
Up into the shoulder,
Yeah.
And it's crazy because these stones could be, what, 400 pounds? 500?
Heavier than that. I think some of
600,
them,
right?
I believe 600, maybe 650. Maybe you can verify that.
So you're talking technique, leverage, and raw, pure, crazy strength.
And if you're wrong, you are seriously injured.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all
I did see a
technique.
video of that. And I was like, is this AI? Because it's incredible watching these people do that.
It really is.
He was training with a 415-pound
That's like a Volkswagen engine.
There's Martins Licis, who was 2019. Was it 2019 World's Strongest Man champion?
Mm-hmm.
He went and tried it, and it was really cool to see him. And, you know, he's wrestling with he's obviously insanely, amazingly strong and really gifted.
All those guys.
The dude's what, 350, 330? He could hang from a single hand and hold himself for like a minute That's how he ended his training session every time. He would just hang single-handedly. And y'all, I've tried that.
That's so hard.
My big butt can barely do it with 2 hands.
Right? Like,
And he's
that's so
holding,
hard.
world's strongest man-sized dude with a single arm.
I could hold
for
myself
a minute
up for a long
straight.
time.
He competed in one of my
Challenge
competitions
accepted.
in his early years. That was 2013. We had Dana Point. We had the IHGF World Highland Games Championships there, and we also had a strongman competition there also. And we had Martin Leacy's, and we had Casey Garrison, and several other great athletes competing. Even in Martins was in incredible shape. He was lean. I think he was maybe 240, maybe 250, but incredible shape, very lean. And you could see even then he had great potential in strongman, fantastic potential. And then he went on to just, he dominated. He won I believe he won the Arnold Classic.
Yep.
He won the Rogue
He has.
Invitational, and then he won World's Strongest Man. And what a great person, a great spirit he has when talking to him. He really has a very warm and caring spirit about him, Yeah.
You know what was really cool about that is that he's been doing a lot of videos traveling the world since he won World's Strongest Man.
Really?
Going to like Hungary, going to China, going all over the world.
Where is Lacey's from again?
He's actually from is it Latvia? Latvia, I think
Latvia,
he's from.
Okay.
Yeah,
Latvian.
nice.
That sounds
Latvia.
Who was his coach again? Oh my God.
Ode Hogan.
Ode Hogan. Who
Oh,
every
God.
birthday he does, was it like 500-pound deadlift for reps for his age, and sets a world record every single year.
How old's Ode?
Ode is
64,
70
68.
No.
Oh, he's in his 70s.
Ode-
Holy hell.
Ode, I think Ode it's either 74 or 75, something like that.
Wow.
And
Think
he
about
is
that, guys.
he's incredible.
The average man and CrossFitter, no, this is not a diss, right? But like when you're at CrossFit, you're like, yeah, all right, 225, right? Dude, I got that standard weight. Same thing in like a strongman gym. When you warm up, there better be nothing less than 225 on that bar. Like we've joked about welding 225 to the bar. That's actually what they do at, what's the up north West Side Barbell? They've actually done that where it's like, if we see 135 on that bar, they will like break your ankles and throw you out. And so you think about like 500 pounds, that puts you in the 1% of modern humans for strength.
You're bending the bar when you do that.
Yes, the bar bends.
The bar's bending.
Massively.
I don't care what bar it is.
I mean, it's like a 12 to 15 degree angle on each side at that point, depending on the bar. So 500 pounds, and this dude does it for
74.
74. Like,
holy cow.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's 74.
that's awesome.
Here's a story. You're speaking about bending a bar. So in Scotland, I had my own gym. We were doing an event in 2000, or was it 2001? It was Clash of the Celtic Giants in Aberdeen. And we took in Glenn Ross. You know Glenn Ross?
Big lad.
Yes, Glenn Ross. He's a great guy, Glenn. And he came over to do a promo before the event. We took him over to do a promo. So I took him to the gym to hear a workout. I think it was a little over, 650. It was something like that. My bar bent. This bar, I thought, can stand up to anything, but he was going up and doing like a piston. He made it look so easy.
Squats.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was going up and doing like a piston, and it bounced, and it just bent.
Yeah.
He put it back in the rock.
We had we had an extra thick bar that was at one of the gyms I used to train at that was perfectly curved, right? So they make these bars that are curved, almost like a normal yoke that you would put on an ox. It's got that curve to fit in the back.
Yeah.
And this thing was amazing to squat with because it just kind of fit the body right, worked with your natural hinge. Yeah, turns out basically this dude squatting like 700 pounds accidentally bent this bar into the perfect shape, and it just stayed there.
That's awesome.
And it's like one of the best bars. It wasn't supposed to be bent
Our
like
bar
that.
was near you. See if their Glen was finished.
It was done.
It was like a V shape.
Hanging on the wall.
Yeah, it was like a V. It was finished. Yeah.
So, Francis, you were telling us about your past Highland Games events. You had mentioned to me about your upcoming ones. Tell us about some of your upcoming games that you're traveling to, because you do the emceeing, and do you do some judging as well?
I do mostly MC, but I do judging also. But one of the next international events we've gotten is going to be Melbourne, Australia, International Highland Games. I've been working with Rob Mitchell. He heads up the Highland Games here in Australia. A great guy, originally from Fife in Scotland, his family.
Oh, St. Andrews.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
Love it.
And he's done a fantastic job. And we've been working in this for over 2 years, and it's finally come into fruition. So we're talking a party of 30 athletes from America and Europe. They'll be competing alongside 20 plus athletes from mainly Australia and New Zealand. And we'll be competing in a competition here in March. And also, as well as the title, Australian International Highland Games Championships, and all the categories for lightweights and A group to Masters 40, 50, 60 plus group. We're having the IHGF World Hammer Throwing Championships and World Weight for Distance Championships also. So really looking forward to that, because it's been over 22 years since I've been to Australia and New Zealand. I'm looking forward to going back. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for those that are just tuning in, IHGA is the International Highland Games Federation.
Yeah.
And that is what you created.
Yeah.
You're the
International
president, the
Highland Games.
CEO, the boss man.
And, once I finished the sport of Highland, once I knew I was finishing, I still wanted to be involved in the sport, but I seen a lot of things I didn't like in Highland Games. And I wanted to have something pure, clean, and still be involved in promoting the sport of Highland Games and major championship events. And so this was the idea behind it all. And, I started involved in the sport as a teenager. I knew I wanted to do a sport. I started doing long distance running. For there, went to, I think it was bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, arm wrestling. I didn't quite get my niche here, and then I was introduced to Highland Games. And as soon as I started practicing, getting involved in I knew it was a sport for me. And that took me to the place where I am today, which has taken me all over the world. And promoting not just Highland Games, but promoting Stones of Strength also,
Francis, can we talk about the Stones of Strength a little bit more? Right?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's something that's been very interesting, right? So I'll be the first to say the past 2.5 years have been the biggest immersion I've ever had in Scottish culture, being this crazy guy that's like, I've always wanted to do the games. We're going to make it happen, bring it in with the group. Really learning things about the culture and stuff I did not know to begin with. But for me, I always understood that the Stones were really part of some of the initial elements of games, the coming of age kind of a test of strength for young men, whether
That's
it was
exactly
at the
right.
games, or even there were some king stones, weren't they? If you wanted to challenge the king, God, I'm trying to remember where there's a castle, like you had to pick up this 400-pound stone, carry it,
Well,
and then you could challenge the king if you wanted, but you had to pick up this 400-pound stone.
here's the thing: you can go back, way back in history. You could get into any village and town in Scotland,
Mhm.
and there'd be a stone to the entrance that you at the left, either put onto a wall at waist height, or just left off the ground. And many of these stones are still can still be found through Scotland. One of the most famous is the Inver stone. This stone weighs 264 pounds, 65 pounds, and it's in the Royal D side, just opposite the Inver Hotel. And I first got involved in stone lifting after I got involved with Highland Games. But I remember my father, when I was young, he would do odd lift, and I remember him lifting a stone somewhere, but I didn't know where it was. I don't know if it was the Inver stone, but I was young at the time. But I always remember that. And but anyway, once I got involved in Highland Games, I would read up in the history, And some of the books had the Denny stones, the Inver stones. So I thought, I'm going to try this Inver stone. And I tried it as a teenager. And I got it to I think I got it to my chest thereabouts. And then I remember Hamish Davidson had a games in London, and he'd taken the stone down there. And at the event, it was part Highland Games. You could say it was kind of like a Highlander. So you'd throw an event, you'd caber toss him, but you also had a one-arm snatch or a barbell, just odd events. But one of them was the stone overhead. I got it to my chest, and I probably got it just level with head. That was my first real attempt with you could say, with the stone, rather than, again, as a teenager. But it wasn't until 1989 I'd actually trained for the Inver stone. So Bill Kazmaier was the first strongman, first sprint athlete that ever left the Inver stone. He was actually competing in 1979, come to Royal Brebner Highland Games in Scotland, and then for there travelled down to Royalty side. And the feat back then was to lift this stone at a wall at waist height, which was a major feat then. And it still is a major feat now. But he took it, lifted it to his chest, and pressed it overhead. So he rewrote the history books with Inverstone. For there, Hamish Davidson of Scotland, a great athlete, Highland Games athlete, great strongman. He was the second person in 1982. And then I trained, I got a millstone. It was 256 pounds. And I trained with a millstone in the gym. And then for like several months. And then I went up to the Inverstone. And I lifted it 3 times that day. That was in 1989.
That's awesome.
I believe
It really
since
is.
then there's probably been I've probably close in a couple of dozen people now have lifted the Inverstone overhead. You know,
That'd be really interesting to take a look at it. I know,
Overhead.
like Braemar. I think it's Braemar. They keep a log of everyone that's lifted it, right?
well, it's just across for the Inver Hotel. There maybe is a log there, but the woman, I believe it was June, her name was,
Yeah.
very nice woman.
They started keeping a log of
yes,
everyone that's ever
keeping a log there.
lifted
It's
or
lifted
attempted.
They do that with the Denny stones too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it just a side note for anybody that wants to get strong, you don't need a gym.
Pick up some heavy rocks.
Pick up a heavy rock. It's not like contemporary. It's not all cool to be like, bro, I belong to the gym and we jazzercise and we've got, whatever. We've got Oli platforms and all this other crap. But I got to tell you, like, so I've been involved in many sports over my life. I've got multiple black belts. I used to teach martial arts. I thought I was stupid strong until I started doing strongman. And then when we started lifting those heavy stones, the Atlas stones, that changed my world. That absolutely changed my strength capabilities and my world. I spent a month fighting sandbags, which are a little bit different animal, and stones. And no joke, everything went through the roof. My deadlift, my yoke, my bench press, it didn't matter.
Well, you're
Just
using so
lifting.
much muscle, the hamstrings, the back, just everything, arms, Yeah.
Oh, you got a little spillage.
And Denny stones, one of the most famous out of all the stones in Scotland. I remember the very first person I seen walking with the stones was Callum Morrison. He was a Highland Games strength athlete from Aboyne, and he walked 3 feet, but hand straps. But then that's how everybody walked with the Denny stones then, was using hand straps.
Now, for those who don't know, how heavy are the Denny stones?
Well, they used to be, historians had it down as 785 pounds.
And there's 2 stones.
2 stones.
And you have to straddle them in a specific way to be able to pick them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the real weight is 735 pounds. One stone's heavier than the other. One's closer to 400 pounds.
So you're picking up 1 stone at 400 pounds in 1 arm.
Yes.
That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. I've seen some women that have done it too.
Yes.
It's incredible.
It's incredible to see how everything has evolved in strength. But back then, Callum Morrison, it was in 1987 at Boyne Highland Games. There was about 8,000 people there watching. He walked 3 feet with the stones. Later, Glenn Ross, I was telling you earlier, we took him over to do a promo, and we actually took them to replicate the what Denny had done on top of the bridge, walking him across the bridge. He walked 5.5 feet. I believe Glenn Ross, he could have walked further. His hand strap broke, but he was looking quite comfortable. And then later we had a competition, 2014, we had the World Stones of Strength in Scotland. Peter Pauser of Slovakia walked over 18 feet.
He could have taken it back to his room.
Barehanded. I mean, with hand straps. They weren't barehanded. But since then, as athletes have gotten more into training with the stones, we've seen a lot of the strong men.
You got Big Laws.
Laws. In fact, he's actually
Brian Shaw.
He's actually
Shaw.
Mitchell Hooper.
I believe he's actually broken Denny's record.
Big Laws, 22 feet 4 inches. I had to pull it up.
Good grief.
And what was interesting is
incredible.
this is at the age of how old is he right now?
I believe he's in his early 40s.
The dude's in his 40s.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
he retired.
Yeah.
He came back lighter than ever. And, you look at Brian Shaw. I mean, that is a massive
It's a
he's
monster.
also like 6'7".
Yeah.
So let's be honest. He's 400 pounds.
Sure.
But he's also a giant of a man.
He's a
There
coke
would be
machine.
Brian Shaw or Big Laws?
Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw.
Yeah,
So Brian Shaw, I remember you look at somebody like Brian Shaw and you're like, Brian Shaw should be able to carry this thing 60 feet. And I'm not,
He didn't
I'm not
get it that
knocking
far. He got it.
I don't remember what his
Was
record
He
it
did
about
carry it, but he didn't get
14,
it super
15
far.
feet. He nearly went
Yeah.
the width of the bridge.
And Big Laws, though, 22 feet 4
Yeah.
inches.
Whole,
As a
with
40
or
some
without
odd year old
straps,
man.
without straps.
Without.
oh Jesus!
Yeah, without.
So the history
You're
books.
starting to slip into it.
It always happens every time he's around.
Here's an important. So back in the history books, everything's passed down by history. Some things can kind of get, off track a little bit. I remember reading about Donald Denny.
Mm-hmm.
This was Louis Serre. You know who Louis Serre is? He
Yeah, I
was a
heard of
great
that.
strongman,
Yeah.
Canadian
Sear,
strongman way back
well
in the
known
day.
for the Sear dumbbells.
Yes.
Massive handle that's bigger than a Coke can. Big round weights, insanely hard to handle. I mean, you have to just be insanely strong to pick those things up. No, they're like 3.5 inch round handles.
They're called inches. The dumbbells, the circus dumbbells.
That was named after Thomas Inch.
Yeah.
Inch. Yeah.
Thomas Inch. But that story, so it's been written that Louis Serre was touring Britain. And so I said probably been, let's see, probably late 1890s or maybe early 1900. And he was meant to be touring Britain, and Donald Denny had sent a telegram saying, please come to Scotland, be my guest. And he says, okay. So he comes to Scotland. So Donald Denny challenges him just to lift the stones. You got to remember, Denny walked the width of the bridge with him.
And Diddy was a small man, though, too.
He was 6 feet 1 and maybe 15 stone, 16 stone at his heaviest.
And what's that in freedom units?
That's probably, let's see,
15 stones, 20 or 22 pounds?
240, 250.
Okay.
250?
So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, a small man.
Yes.
I'm sorry, small build for that height.
Stone's 14 pounds.
But back
14.
then, that was a fair weight, fair size.
Mhm.
over
That was
6
a
feet.
big man. I mean, 210,
Back then.
15 pounds. I was 15 stone.
I think I'm 18 stones, 17 stones.
You're which,
I'm 215, 6 foot, 215.
So you'd be close to 15.
yeah, 15. Yeah, we're about the same body weight.
I noticed when I was doing your laundry, we don't wear the same size pants. You wear much smaller waisted pants than I do.
Because you're fat, Chase.
Correct. Correct.
But getting back that story, so Donald Denny lifts the stones first, right?
Yeah.
Donald Denny lifts the stones. And then Louis Cyr steps up and lifts the stones, and Donald Denny gasps and says, "Wow, you should have been born a Scot." But then Louis Cyr says, "Oui, oui, I'm proud to be a French Canadian." And I thought about it for a minute. I'm thinking, that seems odd. Donald Denny being in awe of Louis Cyr lifting the Denny stones.
His stones.
Yeah, the Denny, yeah. And
Well, I mean, at that time, that was one of those feats that not many other people were able to achieve, right?
yeah, but why would Donald Denny be in awe of Louis Cyr lifting the Denny stones?
Did we mention, did you lift the Denny stones? I know you lift the Inverness over your head or Ember stone.
I've lifted him up.
You've lifted the Denny stones up.
I've never walked with him, no.
Was Donald Denny not aware of how many freedom units the French were responsible for?
French fries.
But you didn't see anything strange with it? Why Donald Denny would gasp at Louis Cyr lifting the Denny stones?
Because he wouldn't think someone outside of Scotland could do it.
Well, why would Donald Denny gasp at somebody just lifting the stones if a feat of strength was to walk with him across the bridge? And that's what I questioned in my mind. And I later found out that Louis Cyr was never even in Britain at that time. And it was a story. It was actually just added till and built up, you know.
It was a
So
tale.
I actually think that Donald Denny.
The fish was this
I
big.
didn't believe that Donald Denny walked barehanded across the bridge. I think he maybe lifted, dropped, lifted, dropped, lifted,
So
dropped.
kind of the modern way, the semi-modern way that you see a lot of people carrying them doing now.
And we've seen some people do that where they're just kind of shunting it forward with the
Yes.
the nudge.
Yeah. They're
Because-
relatively little people.
I
too.
tell you, one of the most amazing ones I saw, March 2023, Kevin Ferris at the Rogue.
Oh, he was incredible. Yes.
Look at Denny Stones.
Yeah.
Kevin Ferris, for all intents and purposes, is one of the smaller strongmen in World's Strongest Man. All right. And these people are all huge, though, no matter the
Yeah.
size. It's one thing to see him on TV until you get near him and you're like, okay, I have a giant leg for a 300-pound man. That's Brian Shaw's arm,
Yeah.
right?
He is
Kevin
still
Ferris-
6'2".
31 feet 7 inches for Kevin Ferris.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mitchell Hooper, who 2024, what was he? 2023 World's Strongest Man?
23 or 24.
Yeah. 23 is runner up in 20.
And he's really unique for his perspective on how you get there and how you do it. It's pretty awesome. But he's 41 feet.
Carrying
for
the Denny
Denny
stones.
Yeah. Well, this
41
is a replicas.
Yeah, the
Replicas.
replica. But it's still the same weight.
replicas.
Yes. Aye.
Yeah. Wow.
Same weight. They try to make it look the same.
But that's the thing. When you look back in history and you see how sports have come and strength have come, everything stood in still except as the Denny stones, the myth, and that's why I believe it was probably done in a drop, a left and drop, left and drop, left and drop, but now you're seeing how many athletes now are. But back then, this last several decades, nobody's been able to duplicate that feat. But now here we go because they're training for it.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who the last world strongest was. It's Stoltman.
Stoltman.
And speaking of he is one of the
Giant
strongest, just incredible. His Atlas stones, just I believe.
Yeah, I mean that's the event.
He
just
throws
ran,
them around like
he
600?
cruised through it.
600. I think it's a 600-pound Atlas stone or close.
I think
he's picking up his child,
650 or
putting it in a
625.
stroller.
He makes it look so
It
easy.
really is.
Yeah.
I want to point out what's really, really interesting to me here is the power of myth, the power of belief. You take a look at, and I'm not even going to get into like the religious, spiritual aspect, but just take a look at somebody like Eddie Hall.
Love me the beast.
Right? The Beast.
The beast.
Resets the deadlift record.
Yeah. He's
All
like
right.
the perfect
He
frame
was
to deadlift.
fighting and fighting and fighting. Deadlift record went up like 1 kilo, half a kilo, 1 kilo, half a kilo for years and years on end. And Eddie Hall's like, screw this. I'm resetting it by, was it 32 or 35 kilos?
He jumped right up.
So we're talking 75 pounds, not just, hey, I beat you by 2.25 pounds. I beat you by 75 pounds. There's no questions asked there, right?
He was the
Did
first
you
over
eat too
1,000.
little or
First
too much
500
at that
kilo.
point?
Yeah.
And over 1,000 pounds, where people said that you could not do it.
The
It
human
was
body.
not possible.
Yeah. Human body couldn't do it.
There are normal human beings today that regularly deadlift over 1,000 pounds. And we're talking people that when you watch their videos on Instagram, YouTube, you look at their stats, they don't look like the kind of guys that could, should, or would.
But you always get, once the bar is raised, then everybody else knows what they got to attend till. Like
There's something so mental in it.
Bill Anderson of Scotland held the world record in the light hammer at 151.1. He broke it in Lochernhead in 1969. 1990, I think it was 1992. We had an athlete for Australia, Matt Sanford. He was a 5 times World Highland Games champion. At 21 years old, come all the way for Australia. I think he started at a game, if I remember, it was Games Week, and he just started obliterating records left, right, and centre. So he upped the world record in the light hammer. And then you got Stephen King, then Bruce Aitken, then holding the world records. Then it went back. Matt Sanford took it back again. And then you got Dan McKim, and he still holds the world records now. Dan McKim, USA. So everything is in progression, you know.
So I want to stir the controversy pot for a second.
God.
Was Hopthor's attempt real, or was it with falsified numbers because it wasn't actually
You're talking about his deadlift?
the
Look,
501 versus 500.
Here's the thing, right?
Was that just because he's so still pissed off at Eddie? So they since it wasn't actually in competition.
So two
Does it
things
count?
here. And Francis, feel free to like slap the shit out of my hand or slap me upside the head if what I'm saying is offensive. Old records used to be set in the middle of the street, at a bank, at a bar,
in public,
at a put up or shut up moment in history.
Yeah. Not in your private gym with only your closest friends around.
Yeah. And the legitimacy and accuracy of some of these numbers, just like what you were talking about with Louis Cyr, can come into question about the authenticity of them. But we have a COVID pandemic where, and I'll be the first to say, at that time, the Mountain was not one of my favorites. He had Magnus for Magnus in there.
I knew this was going to be
one
the
of the
key.
most trustworthy strongmen in history, who is, by all intents and purposes, if he said he saw a condor that had a 100-foot wingspan, I'm probably going to believe the dude.
Yeah, but you got to think as well, everything was above board because, you know, the people there, the setup, and they were going live. Millions of people were watching.
Millions of people watching.
I just wanted to poke.
And
There's
here's
no
the
doubt
thing.
that
If you're so insecure that you have to use calibrated plates, you're not man enough to hold your record.
He is the Mountain.
So
I think he was good.
Here's the Mountain. And I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the people that are calling him out, right?
Yeah,
Those are trolls.
So
Those
the
are
dude's
trolls.
sitting there with some of the world's best.
I 100%
Magnus
agree
for
with
Magnuson showing up.
you. That's the
time
key
in
right
history.
there. With Magnus for Magnuson there, I had zero doubt.
Worldwide broadcast. The dude pulls, what was it, 1 or 2 kilos above
1 kilo.
Eddie. Yes, in my opinion, I don't know the guys, but from what I see, there's a tit for tat thing going on between
100%.
them. You know, because 2017, there were some hot buttons. I think it was 2017.
Where he didn't lock out.
He didn't lock
Yeah, the
out.
lockout.
And you know, you look back for anybody that's a World's Strongest Man fan or not, you guys
And
should
he was
really look
warned
into this.
so
It's
many
amazing.
times.
He was warned not to do the double dip.
He was double
with the
dipping,
press.
and he was warned, at least
Multiple
5
times he was coached
they
ahead of
counted.
time. And so let's put all that aside. Right? So they've got a little bit of beef. Maybe it's
I think they got a big beef. Remember the boxing match?
That was
Yeah.
freaking
Oh,
hilarious.
God.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
great.
Halfthor, if you're
weird
listening
looking at
to
Halfthor
this,
that thin, though.
respect.
That was a
It was
better
weird looking
boxing
at both of them
match
that thin.
It's a better boxing match than
than
Tyson and
Tyson
Paul.
and
That
Paul.
was fantastic.
It really was. Honestly, y'all, while we're tangenting on this, like the Halfthor, good job, my man.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Good job.
Yeah.
I was
Knocking
not
Eddie's on his
impressed
ass.
as a fighter, as a person with a world record. I was not impressed with Halfthor until I saw him out there that day. I would have actually put my money on Eddie. And Eddie even said that it
No.
was so mental for him that he broke down, messed up, and all he was trying to do, if you watch that match, was just a big right hook the entire time. He lost all the strategy he trained. He lost everything. And he was so hell-bent on
knocking him
Well,
out.
I
Getting
would
that
have put
knockout.
my money on just because of boxing in general on Thor. because his wingspan
the reach
is significantly
Eddie
bigger.
should just keep fighting two little midgets like he
in-
did before.
in my
That was
opinion,
hilarious.
look, I don't care about your reach. If I get in on you, I got you.
But the
No.
problem is
I don't need to be
Thor,
at a distance from
I
you.
don't let you in on me with that reach.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna get
with
in on
that-
you. I'm
that
gonna get your
super
bitch ass in the
heavyweight-
corner.
2
I'm
feet
gonna
on him.
break your freaking ribs.
with that
I'm gonna
super
break your ribs.
heavyweight.
I'm gonna make your jaw hurt. I'm gonna punch your bicep until you can't use that arm
But
anymore.
he was trained
Not
by the
playing.
Gypsy King, wasn't he? The Gypsy gave him some
Yep.
tips and boxing and that.
Yep.
Yeah. I
So
mean, they both
honestly,
had actually good
really
boxing
good.
trainers.
You know, I was let down by Eddie Hall, but I think, you know, Hafthor, absolute respect in the end. But like, so when we're talking about him setting a world record, he's got one of the most trustworthy strongmen of all time there. He's actually got calibrated plates and, right? And so there's all these people that get butt hurt. All right. I'm looking at this poster that's up on the wall here. Tallahassee Centennial Celebration, 1924.
That's where you would set the
Imagine
record.
if somebody showed up to that location at that celebration, similar to what we did at the bicentennial, the 200 year, the bicentennial celebration.
Tallahassee, baby.
You know, world record bicentennial celebration. We had a 18-foot power stairs carrying the stone up, 320-pound stone. I don't know that anyone's ever done that, right? Calling into question the authenticity of
I'm
it.
just messing around.
Oh, I know you are,
wanna
dude.
be-
I'm not talking about you.
Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
I'm
wanted
not worried
I
about
just
people.
wanted to stir
People
the
in
pot.
general.
The stones though, there's something so
It's much more visceral.
elemental. Yes, yeah, visceral.
We've
We've all
it's
had to
something-
pick up a bag of groceries.
Yeah, it's something that we all relate to.
Horse
right?
feed.
Like
You've had
because
to
kids,
You've
like,
had to pick up that box at the store that everyone's like, "Oh, be careful! That 1800-watt generator weighs 88 pounds," and your husband throws his back out because he's a weak bitch. No.
you're gonna find out the hard way.
I'm sorry, I
Francis.
should have said that last thing.
But
You take another good sip?
the answer is yes.
I gotta say, St. Augustine,
about a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
St.
kinda-
Augustine, I want to get you guys as one of our sponsors. We're going to give you a call.
Yes.
But,
St. Augustine Distillery. If there's anybody that's listening, Tally, I can't believe the spam we're about to get, but
Bingo.
info@tallyhighlandgames.com. I'm going to call. I want you guys to sponsor us.
Yes,
I want you guys
100%.
to sponsor the Stones of Strength.
There we go.
This is a delicious freaking whiskey.
100%.
And I'm not that guy to like throw that label on whiskeys. This is good.
this is a solid 9.
Cheers, me brother. Aren't you glad I opened this one?
So,
Cheers.
as you're about to find out the hard way,
Mm-hmm.
because of stones, kids love to pick up rocks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
you will
excited.
find so many little rocks.
Okay, question. I'm sorry, keep going.
And so like I think that's why we're so more connected to it. Because it's visceral, it's nature, it's just what it is. And, you know, especially guys. Like, you want to prove you're strong to your buddies as a kid? You go no, I'm talking like young
Boys.
dude
I know.
boys, like
We're manly men.
Yes.
Men
Tight,
tights.
tight.
And
Tights.
it's one of the oldest forms of strength.
100%.
Stone lifting,
It
stone
is.
putting.
But you wanted to prove to your friends you were strong. You went and picked up that big heavy rock over there.
You know what's funny though, and I'm going to say this. It's really interesting about guys, right? So we look at a dude who can lift a 200-pound stone, 300-pound stone, 400-pound stone. We're like, don't mess with that guy. It doesn't mean he can fight though.
No, it doesn't. We've seen that.
We have.
We've seen that many times.
But you're right. This is so visceral. And when I'm thinking about this, we're talking about, actually, real quick pause. If you want to know more about the Stones in Scotland and in Ireland, I want you to check out a couple of profiles. Indiana Stones. This dude tracks down these lost heritage stones in Ireland.
Ireland.
400-pound stone that you're supposed to lift for your recently departed to pass in a graveyard. Holy crap, that's really cool, dude.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love my father, I would lift that stone or die
Yeah.
if that was like the heritage to make sure he passed on to the afterlife. In Scotland, Old Man of the Stones. I think his name was Steve. He passed away, but somebody took over the account and they have a book. And they have traveled Scotland to places where people did not want to tell them about these historical stones. because I can't blame them when you look at what's happened with them with the British and Rome and a lot of other conflicts. It kind of feels like they got to a point where they're like, just burn the bridges, who cares? But there were places that these folks go into and they care. They care. They absolutely freaking care. And they're trying to preserve it.
Yeah.
And something about that big heart and that desire to document it and preserve it. They're publishing books, documentaries, a lot of information. So it's really cool. And there's actually a map of them for Scotland.
Well, this last decade or more, last couple of decades, stone lifting is taken off huge. And not just for men, but for women also.
Oh, my God.
And we see if it's happening in each year. Well, your games is part of the IHGF All-American Stones of Strength Series, which leads to the finals, which is held in Vista in the Viking Festival there.
Nice.
And we had a tremendous, last 2 years we've held the event there, the finals for the All-American, which is qualifiers looking forward to the World Stones of Strength in Fife or Norway. And it's a beautiful location where everything's held. And as well as having the professional World Stones of Strength, we had the amateur as well for men and women. And each year is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. It's really incredible to see, you know. And this is 9 days in Fife or Norway, not just stone lifting, but the Norwegian International Stones of Strength have got the World Championships for both men and women this year happening. Women's been introduced, as well as arm lifting, arm wrestling, and strongman. Just incredible. 9 days. It's the biggest outdoor strength festival of its kind. Just fantastic. And I'm very happy that your games is part of that series.
Heck yeah.
Our national qualifier, right? But what is it that goes on at the World Championship? We've seen some video. We've seen a couple of the folks that have made it and try to follow them, watch them. It just really looks like a super intense event. It looks like a huge community that's super supportive of each other too, even though they're competing it against each other.
You got 200 people comes to Fife or Norway each year and supporting one another. And it's great to see how many countries now are getting involved in the sport of stone lifting, and it's just growing bigger and bigger. And there's a few things I'm working on for next year, which will be announced earlier than the year. It's really going to boost the sport, the stone lifting and Highland Games, and looking forward to having some of these events being filmed for TV. I'm actually working with Cox just now. We got our event filmed this year in Vista, and hoping we can get made into a half hour, if not a half, possibly an hour show. Yeah. You know, and it'd be great to have other events moving forward, being filmed and being shown to help promote not just the sport, but the athletes, also athletes and sponsors.
Yeah.
Wonder what a good way to start getting stuff like this more and more televised is.
Just more and more audience attendance, more PR.
You look at our games where we've got 1,500 people, but you look at some of these others that are thousands, if not more. Grandfather Mountain or Stone Mountain.
Well, it's your games is growing for year to year.
We're year 3, and I know we'll get relatively large. I have no doubt in my mind there. It's just,
hey, you mentioned 1,500. You got a lot more than 1,500 people coming.
I think it was 3,000 or 4,000.
Was it at 3,000 or 4,000 for us last year?
I think we hit 5 actually.
Yeah, I thought it was more like 5,000-6,000 people you had.
5,600, give or take.
600. Okay, I was way off.
Yeah, we're planning to get more this year.
And so something that we actually had a little bit of an issue with is the tracking. This was it's partly based off of zip codes.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you're coming out to our games or somebody asks you, "Hey, what's the zip code?" It's probably because the grant they get helps to track people from out of town. Just give them a zip code. But we had a lot of volunteers. They let some folks for hours that we didn't realize come in without getting zip codes at the gate. But it's huge. It's huge for us to really kind of track what's going on.
And I see it for the first year to the second year, just how much people's coming. It just
it's awesome. We'll have to be really strict on them this year about it. Maybe I'll spend some more time up there.
It's all good. It's all good. The thing I've learned about this, right? It's look, folks, if you want to do something in life, just do it.
Fair enough.
I mean, literally, like, take the Nike slogan, adopt it, just freaking go do it.
But like,
because after we did the games, like, I'm sorry to pause here, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this guy who's now the deputy director of the Department of Emergency Management here in Florida, which I am going to state, any of you guys could run the federal Department of Emergency Management. They could run FEMA way better than what we've seen, especially given North Carolina. And I'm not trying to get political. This is bipartisan. Right?
I'm not disagreeing.
Florida,
here.
by experience, we have some of the best first responders in the best Department of Emergency Management. Now, this gentleman, super accomplished military veteran. I think it was like 5 or 6 tours in Afghanistan,
Jesus.
maybe 9. I don't remember. And after the games, year 1 was successful. You know, he came up to me and he patted me on the back and he's like, you know, the only difference between
What you're doing?
Yeah. He's like, you just did a thing. You just delivered. That's all. And that's one of those things I've learned in life. I don't know that I know everything. But like, if you got a thing you want to do and you love it, just go for it.
Do it.
So how do we get it televised?
We are absolutely
it's-
working on
it's
that.
We're working
coming.
on
That's the question.
traction,
It's coming.
PR,
Okay.
It's coming.
demand.
We've been chatting with Francis. You know, there are multiple people that do streaming.
Yeah.
We're going to be working with some local resources. We're also talking to Francis because he's got some really cool resources. He's been working with Cox Cable, I think.
Yes.
That's what he
And some
said.
of the
Yeah,
other
And we're
guys.
trying to get this. We did last year. This year on for the near future, and I'm working with a great video photographer, Blake Hell, San Diego, and yeah, and I think it's just a matter of time before we get more shows televised
That's good.
in the near future. Like when we would hear the events in Hungary or in Romania
Yeah.
or Norway, we Adam Daraj and the film crew with Pepe and his crew for the network, they would come, they would film, they would edit, they would make it into an hour show.
I've seen those. I've
You've
seen
seen
those
them.
on either one of your websites or somewhere you're on, and I loved it. I watched it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible!"
Well, I mean,
Great
I did
shows.
I paid for Shaw's last year, I think.
Yeah.
The last Shaw Classic. I just paid for his.
I think he
stream.
uses his own streaming service. Is that right?
No,
Or-
it's through somebody, I think.
And-
but I paid for it.
There are a couple sources, you know, that we've taken a look at that are doing that with Strongman. I mean, they'll come in with technology now.
But it's
you know-
all. I mean, the stream was fantastic.
So,
So that was a
I just saw
squeaky mic
you,
there.
Francis.
But they'll
sorry.
come in.
Go ahead.
Just like half a second. It's really cool what these guys will do. They'll come in and they'll set up these cameras all over the space. They'll kind of measure, talk about the events, and they'll just set up these live cams. And this one dude who's really good mixing on a stand, like IT Kevin over here for the podcast and saving the Kaylee last night. Dude's just going at it, changing the perspective, changing how they're monitoring people. And I can't even imagine right now with AI automatically tracking, you know, like what looks impactful and fast and movement and the other stuff. We're looking at some folks like that too, though. But like this, it'd be really cool to get some people in. We want to get it televised. We're absolutely going to make it happen.
Yeah. I would love to be obviously
IT
my
Kevin.
nerdiness coming out here. That'd be fun. I'd love to work with somebody like that. I know I probably wouldn't have a whole lot of time. I'm already busy enough.
If we were able to get the B-roll and all the or stock footage, yeah, dude, I would totally just immerse myself for a month and just churn out some
it's like
videos.
Chase would be calling us, like wondering where we're at. We're both at home in like a cave, just watching B-roll.
If we're able to build some Scots on Scotch
I'm-
followers, they'd be like, "What's going
I'm
on?
gonna
Where are all the
volunteer
episodes?"
getting y'all the B-roll. I will fly to Scotland and get a bunch of B-roll for y'all for sure.
No.
No
We need the
problem.
B-roll here in Tally.
No, but it's some good Scottish geographic locations for B-roll.
There's
and then
plenty of that
go
already
in.
online. I
No.
got some too
Let me-
from
no,
my last
do it.
trip.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick. So let's circle back to something, right? So we're talking about these games, and there's local stones at most of these spots. And no joke, I think we were talking about previously, like when we were up at Stone Mountain, I thought about thieving some stones, you know, from the riverbed there. But where can we find some stones here?
Bro,
I want to get a Tallahassee, Leon County, or some sort of local stone
Leon Sinks.
out. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
We have Swanee within driving distance. We have the Apalachicola River. We have the Occolocny River. We have
Occolocny was what I was thinking of. Was it Bear? What's the
Bear Creek,
Bear Creek. Yep.
Wassissa. I mean, I don't think anything on Wassissa, but
I think we need to do that. I think we need
So
to
we'll
get
go
a
out,
local stone.
We'll spend a day. What we'll do is we'll rent a canoe and just go up for a canoe and go up.
there's actually some big stones
the
on my
four of
parents'
us.
property too.
Can you
Oh, yeah?
imagine the three of
Yeah.
us?
That would be really cool.
There's
Have
some big stones up
You
there.
got smooth stones?
No, they're not smooth, but we can't smooth them, but they're big enough. Like,
The river stones are more fun.
yeah, the river
Yeah.
stones have been, tumbled from the elements. And
Yeah,
stuff.
they're
want
going to
anything-
be smoother. That's what you want,
Yeah.
especially like a pressing stone overhead. You want
we don't want
something
anything that's going to split somebody's skull open just from a crag or an edge.
Oh yeah, no, these
You
are
know.
these are big. Like these are the size of like an engine block, and they're jagged and like
We also have Lake Talquin.
Talquin,
True.
Lake
We have
Jackson.
Lake Jackson, which
There's not a lot of stones in Lake Jackson though.
well, they're all
What-
underwater again.
Why not here St. Augustine stone?
yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
St.
Well,
Augustine
you
You
could
get a
Story.
series
Oh,
of
man,
stones
well,
named
the
after
problem is-
whiskeys.
we'd have
Speaking
to
of
make
St.
them out of
Augustine,
Casina.
you just Francis, I just saw you take another drink from your Glencairn for the bourbon.
From the what?
Glencairn.
Glencairn.
Glencairn?
What was your final thoughts? Because you had some interesting facial expressions.
Well, just as I'm kind of mulling about with, because I'm new to it and I'm watching you with all this smell, tasting, and whatever. Yeah, it's pungent,
Yes.
but but in a nice way, no too overpowering, but quite strong.
Something like this to me is something you drink towards the end of the night. You're sitting outside. It's a cool evening. The sun's setting, and you just pour that, and you just take a sip. And as the night becomes dark and the moon rises, this gets better and better and better, and you're just enjoying it. That to me is how I enjoy my stuff.
This is, and I think we have a similar rating scale, though our tastes are a little bit different.
Mhm.
This is a sexy bourbon.
Yeah,
This is a
this
fantastic
is
bourbon.
above an 8 for me. This
Sexy.
isn't in the 9s.
Sexy. Look, if what you're drinking is not sexy,
Why drink it?
I think you got the wrong thing.
Why are you wasting? Why are you wasting a moment? Don't
Well,
waste it.
For me, this is on the podium. I've got to put this a 10.
A 10?
There you
Yeah, I
go.
would have to.
I love
Well, I ain't tasted nothing. I ain't tasted much whiskeys, but I've got to put this at
Well,
a 10.
now you've got a new passion to go after.
And you're right. You're just like
New
me,
hobby.
Francis. We have expensive taste, my friend. Every time I drink something, this is delicious. Oh, it's
This is
$40 a glass.
Y'all, this is a 8.75 to like 9.25 for me. This
Yeah.
is a really
Yeah.
good bourbon.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to share it together,
a
boys.
solid 9.
Yeah, I think this was an amazing episode. Francis, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thank you
Everybody
so much.
reach in. Everybody reach in. We're gonna do this. Put your hands in.
Hut.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hold it.
We're dropping pieces off of stuff. Boing.
There we go.
Love you guys. I'm glad we got to share this.
This has been great. If we
you-
haven't run you off with this episode,
Francis, give us some of your final thoughts. The bourbons, the episode, the podcast, the Highland Games, whatever.
I have never enjoyed a time like this. I was going to say after a Highland Games, but after a Cayley, I've really enjoyed it. Talking about Highland Games, the history, just friendship and coming together.
Mm.
In life, we going through many things, but one thing it's shown me, life is very short, and spending time with friends and family is important. But the most valuable thing that we have in life is time, and I'm glad to share some time with you.
Amen.
honored to
Thanks,
share it with
Bob.
you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. This has
Lots
been
of
a pleasure, and I'm glad we got to do this. And go ahead.
And I'd just like to say for the listeners out there, if you've never been to Highland Games before and you want to experience a Highland Games firsthand, the atmosphere and just all the events associated with Highland Games, and anything to Scotland, Tally Highland Games are bringing it here for you. We've got Highland Games, Stones of Strength, pipe bands, we've got the dancing, and of course the clans. You've ever wondered if you're associated with any of the clans? Well, come find out. See if you're associated with them and get the history on your clan and where your people come from. It's going to be fantastic. February, I'm going to be there. I hope to see you there. Cheers.
Cheers. And I think that's a wrap, gents.
Cheers, folks.